What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and for today's video I wanted to do one of the requests that I got from you guys in the comments, and that is to do a review on Anti-Venom, right? And this is Venom in his newest uniform. Now before I jump into this one guys, let me just go ahead and say this: if you are a Venom fan, you're absolutely going to have to buy this uniform as of right now, okay? Because the base version of Venom in this game is completely unusable, right? I have him built pretty well, and I can honestly say that I cannot get anything done with him. Like, only thing I can do with him right now is run story missions, and not even really high ones, okay? So right now Venom is in a terrible place, and although I'm really happy he gets the Anti-Venom uniform, I'm really disappointed because I was expecting Netmarble to at least give this guy a rework, because the entirety of his kit is pretty bad, okay? He has suboptimal skill cooldown times, so when you use him, you're going to find that even if you have max skill cooldown, you're going to have a 1 to 2 second gap where you have no skills to use, and you're going to have to run around and try not to die, because on top of having suboptimal skill cooldown time, and you guys, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I'm not a fan of using the auto attack button or that big button. I like to use the skills that we are given, because there are other characters in this game that never have to use that button and they do just fine, right? So I don't think any character should be in a place where they have to actually run around for 2 seconds to buy time in a fight, okay? Especially when everything in this game, guys, runs on a timer. Wasting time is not something I want to do, okay? So suboptimal skill cooldown time, and he has low DPS. On top of that, no iframes on the base kit, and no way to protect himself. He does have a fear, but that's about it, okay? So he's in a really bad place right now, and I'm actually pretty upset that he did not get a rework. So that's not what this is about. This is about the uniform, and I gotta say guys, I bought it mainly because of the bonus, because I think this is a really good bonus. 30% chance to heal 15% of your max HP, and it's on a 20-second cooldown. But what actually made it appeal to me is the fact that it applies to all of your teammates. So right off the bat, this reminded me of Groot's tier 2 passive, and it actually is very close to being Groot's tier 2 passive. If you guys take a look at Groot, if I can find this little guy, where you at, Groot? There we go. Now if you take a look at Groot's tier 2 passive right here, guys, 25% chance, so 5% less, and it applies to all teammates, and it gives you 20%, where Venom only gives you 15. However, he's on a freaking 15-second cooldown, so slightly lower cooldown than Venom, but it is pretty much identical to Groot's tier 2 passive. So a lot of you guys, if you tier 2 Groot because you like his healing, the Anti-Venom uniform is definitely going to be something that you should look into getting, because it's going to be almost just as beneficial to you. So yeah. However, that's not the only benefit of using this guy right here. His entire kit got changed. Although the 3 skill and the 5 skill are pretty much just reskins in terms of like their animation, the 5 skill gets a massive change, guys. As you guys can see right here, he recovers 10% of his max HP for 1 second. Now, this right here already looks good on paper, right? Recovers 10% of your max HP. Even though it's on an 18-second cooldown, this would actually still be really good. However, the best part about the skill is that it actually heals for way more than that. I'm not sure if it's actually a glitch or this is how Netmarble intended it to work, but this 10% that he's supposed to heal feels like he's healing like 200%, okay guys? Because I've literally just gone into fights, stood there, waited until he's about to die, hit the skill, and it literally takes him all the way back to full health. Then I'll do the same thing again, and all the way back to full health. And I can do that in Shadowland for like the full duration of the fight, and the time will run out and this guy will just not die, okay? So this skill right here is actually amazing in terms of keeping him alive, which survivability is one of the big things that he lacks without the uniform. However, survivability isn't the only thing that he got from this uniform. His 4 skill right here, which is pretty much a hybrid of Carnage's 3 skill and 5 skill combined, which you guys will see the animation when I play him shortly, is pretty damn good. The damage is pretty good, not Carnage level, but it is pretty good. And on top of that, it has the same effect as the 3 skill from Carnage. So once you use it, these little particles of his suit is going to fall off, and when you walk over them, that's gonna give you the ability to recover some HP. So that's 3 healing abilities that this guy already has. So that's really freaking amazing. Survivability takes a huge jump when you look at where he started, right? And it gets even better, guys. 2 skill right here. Although it doesn't do as much damage as the 4 skill, it actually gives you the ability to heal, right? So 4 heals, guys. 4 heals, which is exactly what he should have because he is Anti-Venom, and this is the main thing that he's known for, is his insane freaking healing abilities. However, this one right here is actually really good in my eyes because of the fact that it actually allows you to heal based on the amount of damage that you do. So the more damage you're able to pump out, the more you're able to heal. However, that is only the damage dealt with this skill from what I gather, okay? So that makes it so that this skill right here is an amazing skill in my eyes, okay? So 4 heals on this guy is no joke. He's definitely going to be one of the tankiest combat characters for sure, for sure. So we might be looking at another Moon Knight in terms of survivability because he does have an iframe and he has 4 different ways to heal himself. One skill also got changed. It is not an iframe or anything like that. However, it does have some kick to it because it allows you to knock back the enemies and distance yourself if you do need that, if you find you're taking a good bit of damage with this guy. However, with all this healing, guys, I don't see you having any trouble playing this guy, okay? And even though his skill cooldown time did not get a change, because the animations are now slightly longer on these skills, it makes it so that playing him is a lot more fluid than playing him with any of these uniforms. Well, not the uniform, the basic model and this uniform right here, okay? So because they made the animation slightly longer, now he's a significantly better in my eyes, okay? Because now you don't have to run around or anything like that. And even if you did, because you have so much healing, you'll be fine, okay? So he's actually going to be a pretty solid character in my eyes. And as of right now, guys, I'm definitely thinking about tier 2ing him, even though I think his tier 2 passive needs to be reworked, right? Because he has all speed increased by 35%. This is the only thing that bothers me about this passive right here. Skill damage increase, definitely nice. And the ignore dodge definitely makes sense because he's built, or he's meant to be a Spider-Man killer. So, yeah. The only thing that bothers me here, guys, is the fact that he gets 35% increase to all speed, right? The 35% here is kind of like a whatever to me because you can only get a maximum of 130% attack speed in this game, right? And you start off with a base of 100, so you can only increase that by 30%. So I'm not sure what Netmarble was thinking here when they gave him 35%. Because you're not going to get that extra 5%. And you guys may be thinking, well, it's only 5%, right? However, take a look at his 4-star passive, guys. He gets an additional 10% once he goes below 30%, right? So that's 145% increase. And you're not going to be able to use 15% of that, right? So I don't like that. However, that alone should not be a deter from tier 2ing him because as of right now, I think he's in a good place. Still need to rework the base kit because I don't like the fact that you actually have to, like, absolutely have to buy the uniform in order to play with him. I'm a firm believer that uniform should enhance the character. It shouldn't be the only way that you can use the character. The character should already be usable, and the uniform makes it so that they're either able to do something better or makes it so that they can do something that they couldn't do before. But they should at least be able to do something without the uniform. That's how I feel, okay? Uniform should be an extension of the character, not a freaking, if you don't have the uniform, you can't do anything with it. But that's my opinion on it, guys. So definitely want to think about tier 2ing this guy once I get to play around with him a little bit more. So if you guys are a hardcore Venom fan and you tier 2 this guy, make sure you have this uniform. And as for this freaking guy's gears, this is another reason why I don't know what Netmarble was thinking, because he also gets attack speed right here. That's just more wasted stats, guys. So natively he gets some attack speed here, which if you tier 2 him, you're gonna have already 145% at some point during that fight. 15% of that is wasted, and you're probably going to get an additional 3 or 4% here from your native gear. So that's going to be like almost 20% of wasted stats. That could have been 20% guaranteed crit rate, 20% crit damage. Okay, so the fact that he has so much attack speed and they gave him that as a part of his tier 1 and tier 2 passive, I don't think that is a good idea, and they definitely need to think about doing something to fix that, okay? However, his native gears are not all that bad. Physical attack, you want to roll his first gear, something like what I have here. physical attack per level for the first two, all attack and physical for the remaining slots. Next one right here, crit damage and ignore defense. Very good slot. So I rolled for energy per level right here and all defenses, and that's what you want to go for right here, okay? Next one, also another good slot, guys. So under normal circumstances, that would have been 3 really good slots right here. However, because of the fact that he has so much attack speed already, the attack speed there is kind of wasted, especially if you had any coming from your cards, okay? So crit rate, skill cooldown right here, another good slot. So right here, I rolled for HP per level and HP for the remaining slot. And this slot right here is going to be pretty important to you, so make sure you don't put anything silly like dodge here, because the more HP he has, the more he's going to be able to recover. So definitely go ahead and put HP in this slot. You could actually go as far as rolling for HP per level in the second slot. Just make sure you get a value that is over 183%. Next slot right here, the only bad slot on this guy. Dodge and physical defense, okay? So for me, I rolled for crit rate and crit damage and a little bit of ignore defense, and that was good enough for me. For you guys, depending on your ISO set and your cards, you might actually need to go ahead and roll some skill cooldown here, but something like this is probably what you want to go for in this slot, okay? As for his obelisk, guys, this obelisk right here is really old, and I built it when I was using my normal Venom. This was before I had the Anti-Venom uniform, and I absolutely needed a way to keep him alive, right? So I threw this on him because it had invincibility and a little bit of ignore defense. I saw web immunity, and I was like, you know what, this is very fitting for him. However, as of right now, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, you don't want to go with this. You want to go with something like what I have right here. You want to go for crit damage, crit rate, and a proc, because the fact that he has a skill that allows him to heal for more, the more damage he does, that's going to be really good if you're going for a PvE type build, okay? Something like this is going to be good. Something like this right here might actually be decent if you're going for a PvP. However, don't go for mind resist. Go for like the max HP that you see on this obelisk. Take it and put it on this, and you're looking at a really beefy freaking Venom for PvP, okay? If you need the ignore defense though, make sure you go ahead and cap that off before you think about using crit damage, okay? So you could ideally go for crit damage, ignore defense, and a proc for PvE, or PvP, you go for crit damage, invincibility, and freaking ignore defense, okay? Now, as for his ISO set, guys, this right here is not optimal. Once again, because he has so much freaking attack speed. The only ISO set that you can possibly roll for this guy is going to be overdrive. So good luck rolling for that, boys. I wish you guys all the luck in the world, because I've been rolling for it forever and I just have not gotten it, okay? I'm definitely going to change it, which is why you see a lot of 4-star ISOs still in here, because I don't want to waste any ISOs. I'm going to keep this one active until I get overdrive. And the reason why I say you don't want to go for Hawk's Eye is because he has some skill cooldown already. Just roll some on the 4th gear slot if you need it, and then clean up your cards and you'll be good. Do not waste any more stats rolling for Hawk's Eye, because you're going to miss out on doing some more damage with this guy, because his damage didn't get a massive jump. His survivability did. So you want to make sure that you capitalize on the fact that he has good enough survivability now, well, top tier survivability now. So go ahead and set this guy up in order to pump out as much damage out of him as possible, right? So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys a Shadowland clear with this guy. It's only floor 1, no big deal, but this is not even something that I'm capable of doing without the freaking uniform, so I wanted to show him some love. And also, guys, before I jump in here, I want to actually show you something that I found out that you can do in order to scale this guy's damage, right? So at the start of the fight, this is actually what I'm going to do in this fight, right? So this 4-star passive, which is something that would be under normal circumstances useless because you didn't have the uniform, and you can see right here the activation rate for this passive right here is once you're below 30%, and if you're that low on HP and you don't have this uniform, you're going to die, right? So without this uniform, do not try to do this, you're gonna die. But what I'm telling you to do right here is actually at the start of the fight, what I generally do with this guy is I just let him get hit until he gets under 30%. And how you will know that is his character size will increase. And what's going to happen, he's going to get an additional 10% all speed and all attack. The all speed is not really that important if you already have him at tier 2, but at tier 1, it is very useful, okay? So once that happens, you can just go ahead and hit the freaking 5 skill, and that's gonna heal you all the way back up to full health and you get to keep the additional 10% increase to your attack. So that's what I like to do with this guy, because like I said, he doesn't have top tier damage at the moment. So go ahead and try doing it this way. Get an additional 10% and it might actually help you out, because I find that I pump out a little bit more damage with him when I play him this way. It takes me a while to actually get him down that low because I have the invincibility, but if you're running a damage proc, it will be a little bit faster to set that up. Okay, so let's jump in here and do this thing, man. Alright. Let's go. Alright, so we're just gonna go in here and let these guys beat up on Venom for a little bit, and you'll notice once you hit 30%, if you don't have the invincibility, obviously this is gonna be faster like I said, but the main reason why you want to do this is to up your damage, right? So right after this, see, he gets big, you hit the 5 skill, and that's gonna take you all the way back up to freaking full health, okay? On top of that, because he's bigger, his attacks are gonna cover a larger part of the map. Like if just look at how big the 4 skill gets. Look at that. It's freaking huge. You know, not only does it aesthetically, it looks way cooler, and you get to keep that buff for the duration of the fight. I'll click on it right there, as you guys can see. So even though he's no longer at 30%, you're gonna get that extra 10% to all speed and freaking all attack, okay? And that web immunity, Spider-Man ain't got nothing on me. I don't even need a skill rotation for this guy. And this is not all he's capable of, obviously, guys. So definitely expect to see some more Shadowland gameplay, and maybe even some World Boss gameplay if I find some time using this guy, okay? Like I said, this is a really good way to scale his damage. But if you're in World Boss, try to be careful, because if you don't have the invincibility obelisk, you might just get one-shotted once you get that low. Alright? But that's all I have to share for this one, guys. Sorry for making it so long. I hope this was informative, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man. And I'm out.